Welcome to the workshop on the Schielhau. So, this is supposed to be an any level seminar. So I'm just going to ask for shows of hands here. So, who has never heard of the Schielhau? Never heard of it? Okay. Who's heard of it but never has been able to do it? Kind of.
Heard of it, not exactly sure what it is.
Not sure what it, okay. I should have put an intermediate step there. Okay. So who can do it but can't really make it work in like a tournament or a high level? Okay, so that's most
Why we're here.
Okay. And who can do it and regularly kicks people's ass with it at a high level? Okay, yeah, all right. So, okay, good. So hopefully this is meant to be useful for everybody, for anybody who answered that question, no matter what question you asked. So if you are kicking people's ass with it, maybe you'll get some ideas on like how to teach it, or maybe some other ideas on like, what to do. But I see most people are at the level where they can do it, but they just need to take it to the next step where they're really like making it a useful part of the game. So that's good, perfect. So my philosophy is that you don't really know something until you can do it. So like you can know intellectually what a Schielhau is and like maybe be able to motion it in the air, but unless you're really hitting people with it in a tournament or like in sparring, you don't really you haven't really learned the move yet. So that's what we're going to work on. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit first about some things related to the Schielhau. So first, why do I care about the Squinter? Why do I care enough to do a workshop on it? So the first reason is it's distinctive. So I study RDL, Focus on Lev, which is a gloss of the Lichtenauer tradition. The Schielhau is one of the 5 hues of Lichtenauer's system. So if you're unfamiliar with Lichtenauer's system or the system based on Lichtenauer's Zettel, it's structured into 5 hues and then 12 pieces, and the pieces are more like some of them are specific techniques, some of them are ideas, but that's the structure. So the 4th of the 5 hues is the Schielhau, and it's fairly unique among systems. Like other things, like any longsword system is going to have a long edge cut from above, or like a cut from below, or even the Zverhau, like you're going to have horizontal cuts. The Schielhau is unique because it is a cut from above with the short edge, and you could say like, well, why would I do that? Why would I cut with the short edge from above? We'll get to that. So the second reason I care is because it's intentional, right? So no one's out there doing Schielhaus by accident. If someone does a Schielhau in a tournament and like thrusts, gets a really nice bending thrust, they were doing it on purpose, which is cool. Yeah. The third reason is that people actually do it. So it has a long history in HEMA. So people in the old school days, people like Jake Norwood, Travis Mayotte, and Christian Rokinen used to, when few other people were successfuli doing the techniques, they were like, out there winning tournaments with them, which is cool. In the present day, most of you probably know of Miro Latela. He's really the person who's known for doing Schielhaus in the current day. It's basically his main game, and he's probably the best in the world right now by doing them, which is cool. So it's, I don't like to use, I kind of want to use the word solved for Schielhau, and I mean that in the sense not that like all the mysteries of the text have been solved, but its usage is a cohesive part of modern tournament strategy, and you can fence at a high level, not just using it, but not just using it in a token method, but as a tool to succeed. I like that there's a wide tactical variety to the Schielhau. So as we'll talk about later, there's a lot of different ways in which the Schielhau is used in the text. So you have like your counterattack, you have it as a straight attack, you have a feint hand snipe, you have a bunch of different things that you could do with it. And finally, because it's cool. So, thanks. Okay, so now the question, why use it instead of a long edge cut? This is actually not as easy a question to answer as it seems. So most of the times when I hear people try to answer it, they basically say like biomechanics, which to me is not, or structure, which like, you know, both of those things are true, but like it doesn't tell the full story. So my main ideas behind this are twofold. The first is that when you cut with the short edge, you are positioning yourself in a way that's more likely to oppose something that's coming in from the side. So, and you don't have to, right? You can long edge here, or you can short edge here, and you can long edge out here. So you don't have to do that, but going short edge, you're more likely to be in that position, right? It's kind of affords that position more than a long edge cut, even though you technically can do both with both. The other one is your ability to lift up during and after you attack. So again, you can do this with the long edge, right? If I'm cutting long edge, I can lift up my hands. But if you're cutting short edge, it's more conducive to doing it, right? Yeah, you can long edge, you can flip it over after you do the long edge, yes. But when you go short edge, it's more conducive to being able to drop the point and kind of go over if you need to. You can do it, okay, yeah. So that's my answer as to why use the short edge. But the real way to answer that question is to just do it. Because once you start getting Schielhaus working, you kind of, you gain an understanding of why they're good that can't really be explained. It just kind of works. Okay, so before we get into actually doing things, I want to talk about some source stuff because I think it's interesting. So the word Schielhau, you know, we have Schiel and Hau. Hau obviously means like a you know, a cut, a strike, a hew is so it, you know, it can be, it's a swinging action, right? That can end in a cut or a thrust. That's a hew. So Schiel, I usually translate it as squint because I like to say the word squinter. I think it sounds cool. But what it really means is like, it was a term for like a cross-eyed person. So it can mean like someone who's cross-eyed, someone who has a lazy eye, you know, two eyes facing in different directions. So it kind of evokes the idea of both being askew and also kind of an undertone of like discomfort. Like, you know, it's an uncomfortable idea to like, you know, to have your eyes crossed like that. So there's a couple other things in this text that kind of, in my opinion, point towards it being kind of expected that it's unintuitive. And my purpose in saying this is because like, if you can't get it working or like it doesn't feel like it comes naturally, that's because it's not supposed to, okay? So they use, so when he tells you to turn the sword, so the text says, when you approach to fence, send the left foot forward, hold your sword at your right shoulder. When they hew and above, turn your sword and jump forth with the right foot. So when they say turn there, the German word is verwend, V-E-R-W-E-N-D. So the reason that's interesting is that most other cases in the gloss use the word vend. so without the VER, and then means turn. So now initially when I translated this, I kind of just put it as turn, and like I was like, yeah, that just means turn. Like let's not think any deeper about this. Let's just move on, right? But recently, we've kind of dug into this word, verwend, and it has an interesting kind of connotation. Where's the quote? So one of the so on Grimm's dictionary is where like you find a lot of information on old words. So one of the translations that it points to is to bring out of a natural position, to twist, especially of the eyes. So that was a very kind of eye-opening definition. So to me that means it's kind of supposed to be turning in a weird way, turning in an unnatural way that you wouldn't normally do, right? So the third reason I think it's strange is because it literally says that it's a strange, good, and earnest piece right in the beginning of the piece. So it just straight up tells you that it's weird. Okay, so finally, let's get into the mechanics of the Schielhau. So we're going to have two more parts to the seminar. First is going to be the mechanics of actually how to do the action, since it is unintuitive. And the second is going to be tactics of the situations that come up and when to do them. So first, let's talk about, sorry, I'm going to talk a little bit longer even before we get into mechanics. So let's talk about what is a Schielhau, okay? So let me read that text again. Okay, so when you approach someone defense, set the left foot forward and hold your sword at your right shoulder. If they then hew in above to your head, turn your sword and jump forth with the right foot and hew against their hew with the short edge long above with extended arms over their sword to their face or chest. If they're clever with it, well, let's not worry about the feint now. Let's just worry about exactly, what's going on. So, when we're interpreting text, we always have, this list of steps, right? So, left foot forward, step in, turn your sword, etc. We always have that list of steps, but when we're actually fencing, things are obviously a lot more messy. Like you're not gonna, things are messy. So there's a couple of approaches you can take to interpreting. The first one is to say that only something that does all of these things, that checks all of these boxes, will be considered a Schielhau, and if any of those boxes remain unchecked, then it is no longer a Schielhau. So if I do everything except I started with my right foot forward, then it's not a Schielhau. If I, start with my left foot forward, but I don't take a step, it's not a Schielhau, etc. So to me, that if you go that route, then you'll just never see a Schielhau. It'll just never happen in sparring. So there needs to be like some depth. You can also go too far in the other direction be kind of too like open about it, in which case like everything becomes a Schielhau, and then it loses its usefulness. So you have to come up with some kind of parameters for what a Schielhau is, or what you're going to consider a Schielhau in order to move forward. So for me, the defining features of Schielhau are a cutting action from above, turning the short edge. So that doesn't always mean you necessarily have to land with the short edge, but turning the short edge, turning it in in this direction basically, and I don't care about footwork. So Bill, can I see you for a second? So an interesting thing is, yeah, you're good. If you read the text, coming very slowly with a cup from above. If you read the text, doing this, and then thrusting, or hitting the head, checks all the boxes, right? So there's no reason in the text that turning the short edge like this is incorrect. So why do we say that turning it like this is a Schielhau and like this is not? It's an interpretation choice, really. Like that's what it comes down to, because like at the end of the day, turning it in like the starts how direction is what we say, because the starts how is a thing in like other traditions. At the end of the day, this just literally does not go against the text. Like you can just do that and you won't be wrong, like when interpreting the text. But you know, in the context of everything and like all the tactical situations, this kind of just fits all of them better, right? And it just works better. It just works really well. So, but we have to, thank you. But we have to remember that this is still an interpretational choice, right? This isn't the ultimate truth. We always have to make some kind of concession when we're interpreting. No interpretation is ever perfect. Okay, so you can spread out and like move your swords around for this one, but we're still not doing a partner drill. So when doing the Schielhau, okay, there's two. So we know what the goal is, right? The goal is to cut with the short edge, right? And you're either cutting with it or you're thrusting with it, either way. But either way, you have to cut in with the short edge from above. So, in observing people do Schielhaus in tournament, I found like as many as I could. There tends, in my opinion, to be two main approaches to to how people accomplish it. So the first is to say, the first I call the modified long edge cut, okay? So you can consider a long edge cut, you're just shooting straight out, right? Shooting straight out, hitting with the long edge. The modified long edge cut is you're shooting out, but you're turning the sword as you do it. So you hit with the short edge, okay? The second method that I've observed is I call the point drop method, okay? So if you hold your sword in a shoulder guard, don't move it, just drop the point back, okay? So you're just cutting behind you. If you do that while moving your hands forward, eventually you'll be cutting in front of you with the short edge, right? And now you don't have to worry about turning the sword as you're cutting in, right? Because you're just doing one action. Okay. So these two ideas have pros and cons. So when you're doing the point drop, you tend to end up with more of an angle between your forearm and your blade, which is good for some things, but not as good for other things. So it's good for doing a counterattack because your opponent is coming in and breaking the distance, so you don't need to, extend out as far. It's not as good if you are doing a Schielhau against long point, right? So this time my opponent is not coming in. I need to get my hands lower to get my strong on their weak. So doing this is not going to be very good for that. On the other hand, the modified long edge, the main drawback of it is that most of the time when people do this, they end up hitting flat because they think they can turn the sword in time, but they can't. And in the chaos of a full-speed fencing match, they just end up hitting flat and don't turn the sword the whole way. So that's a problem if you care about hitting flat. If you don't care about hitting flat, then it's not a problem. If you think the judges are going to miss it, or if you're in a fencing scene that allows flat hits. So, one thing we can do to mitigate this is you can start from a primed stance. So what I mean by that is instead of starting fully long edge forward, you can preemptively turn your sword, okay? So you can turn it so the flat's on your shoulder, or you can even turn it fully short edge forward, right? And that's, if you watch Miro Latela, that's basically how he fences. He'll fence with his right foot forward and his short edge turned forward. So all he has to do is this, right? So when I'm doing that, right, if I have my short edge turned all the way forward and I cut out like this, now there's no difference between the point drop and the modified long edge. They're literally the same thing because the sword's already turned. You're just shooting it straight out. So there's a point in which both of the methods kind of converge. Yeah. Okay. So now that we have that out of the way, let's do our first activity. Right. So in order to, be able to use the squinter in a tournament, you have to be able to throw it as naturally as you throw your long edge cut. It has to just like, you have to be able to just like send it straight out, no preparation or anything, other than maybe priming your attack. So we're going to start with the direct attack game. So just don't hit me. Right. So basically, let's go more like this. Okay. So basically, how this works is I want you to start with your short edge already forward for this. Okay. So it's just going to be straight out. And how the game goes is, you're in a low guard. There's an attacker and defender. Defender starts in low guard. Attacker attempts to attack the head. If they hit, they step back. If they're blocked, then they step forward, and they repeat. Okay. Right. Starting distance is whatever you can do. I wanted to mention footwork though. So for footwork, generally, when we do the direct attack game, it's to help teach this passing step thing. So you just send the point straight in, and then catch yourself with your foot. But the idea is that you're not slowing down your tip at all. Your tip is going as directly to the target as possible. Since this is not a seminar on fencing left foot forward, if you want to, you can do right foot forward and just lunge out. You can modify the footwork if you want, but right now the idea that I want to train is just getting that short edge cut to be like as natural as your long edge cut. Does that make sense? Okay, so make groups of 3 and do 10 reps each with everybody doing both sides, okay? Thank you. Okay, so that looks good. I think a lot of you are already familiar with the direct attack game. And if not, then you did very, very good with it. Okay, so and I also saw that a lot of you are very eager to start doing, Schielhau from a non-prime position, which is good. So we did it from a prime, sending the sword straight. So now we're doing it from an unprimed position, right? So you can think of it as, the point drop. You can think of it as the turning the sword. I'm going to preempt this with a common error that I see, which is the flat slap. So you have your starting position, you have your ending position, but the path of the blade between that should be coming down from above, right? But sometimes people will come sideways and hit with the flat, right? So again, same starting position, same ending position, but it's not the right path of the blade. So if you are on the receiving end and you see this happening, what you can do is put your sword up like this and have them attack you, and now I have to come from above because if I slam, I'll get blocked. Okay? So just do a couple of reps of that and get back to the regular game if it happens. Another thing I want you to look out for is flat hits. So if you're trying to do a blade, like a modified long edge and turning the blade, then you have to hit with the edge. If you're hitting with the flat, then if you're the receiver, tell your partner if they're hitting with the flat. Okay? All right, let's do it again. So you don't have to do both sides with everybody. Just do one round through.
Any issues arise? Any specific splinter issues with the mechanics? Okay, cool. Okay, so now we're going to move on to tactical application. So the first thing that I want to mention about the splinter is, as I said before, it's flexible. Okay, so you can Schielhau high, you can do it low, you can aim for arms, you can aim for head, you can do a thrust, you can do a cut, right? And that's not unique to the Schielhau, right? You can do that with a long edge cut, and we don't even really consider that a special thing with a long edge cut, right? We aim head, we aim arms, we try to thrust with it. So it's the same thing with the Schielhau. You can aim for different targets, and depending on the purpose of doing your Schielhau, you're going to want to do it differently. So the first application that we're going to look at is a counterattack against a incoming cut, because that's the first one that comes up in the book. Okay. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind about the counterattack usage. So first, if I'm trying to counterattack, if I'm trying to react to his cut, then it's almost never going to work. Okay. So as long as he has a good direct attack, if I'm trying to react to his cut, he's going to get there first. I'm not going to be able to Schielhau in time. So you need to set this up in some way. So the first thing, I have two methods, or two kind of ideas that I'll share for how I think I do it. So the first is to.
Do you mind if we approach closer when you're on mic?
Yes, please. Yeah. But just don't get hit on us. Okay. So the first idea is as a preemptive strike, right? So maybe we're fencing, like, I think that maybe he'll, like, if I move, maybe he'll attack, but I'm not sure. Like, I think if I'll do a long edge, then he'll just double me. So in that situation, instead of entering long edge, I'll just enter with a splinter, and then I'll pick up his blade as he comes in. So the second one is to draw him in, right? So I know he likes to attack. I'm gonna draw out his attack. I do the first one.
Yeah.
But they blend together like everything does. I try to draw out his attack, and I counter it, right? So for the second method, if he's coming in, that's when the point drop really shines, because I can just be in my normal stance and just, be there, and I don't have to worry about this.
I was worried about that earlier.
Yeah. Okay. So.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So for the first one, it's pretty self-explanatory. You almost enter in the measure already doing the Schielhau, so it's like a rock, paper, scissors. You beat them. When you draw out the attack, you're baiting them with footwork to attack first, but you kind of reach this side and then go in, or I'm a little confused.
Yeah. So if I know that he's going to attack, I'm basically just gonna throw my splinter as soon as he moves.
Okay.
So, in I mean, I don't know that he's going to attack. I suspect it.
For sure.
You can always do something tricky, and you know, nothing's perfect, right? So you're never gonna this isn't an instant win button, right? There's nothing that's gonna work all the time. But if I strongly suspect that he's going to attack me from above, then I can throw it. You can watch if you watch my match with Miro from 2024. He does this to me twice in that match. He just kind of waits. He knows that I'm going to attack. He waits for it and then just drops it as soon as I go. And yes, baiting out an attack is a skill that's difficult. That I'm not going to be able to fully explain in this one little section of this one seminar. But that's what the game is for. Go ahead.
So RDL talks a lot about using Schielhau against the plows.
Yes.
Tactically, does it only work when the plow's on the opposite side, so the sword's in between you and the plow, or can you do sprinters against left plow?
So okay. So actually, this is good because I was going to kind of skip over the against plow, but if you're going against plow, so what it says in the book, it doesn't mention anything about blade contact at all, and I don't think it specifies which side the plow is on. It might, but I don't remember.
I do not.
So basically, what it says is when you do a splinter against the plow, you just send the point, and then so he can't reach you below with the sword, which is dubious advice. That I didn't necessarily want to get into. But if you're doing a splinter against plow canonically, you're just kind of sending it through. You're not worrying about blade contact. Long point is different, and we'll get to that later. Okay, so now we're going to do a more oppositional game with fewer constraints than we were doing before. So the first thing I want to preempt this with is this game. The purpose of this game is not to just try splinters over and over again and see if you can ever get it. The purpose is to fence within the parameters of what we're doing and seeing if you can find an opportunity to do the piece that is being worked on, right? So if you get one success throughout the entire game, that's good. That means you're on the right track. If you have failures, that's also information. Now you know when not to use it, okay? So the first game is called head versus short. So one fencer can cut or thrust with either the long or short edge, but their only target area is the head. So you'll be that side. The other fencer can hit anywhere above. Actually, give me that part.
Yeah. I was like, wait, you're not wearing a lot of kit.
The other fencer can hit anywhere above the belt, but you can only hit with the short edge. Okay. So I'll attack your head. You do short.
Yeah.
We'll do like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So, does that make sense? All right.
You have a question?
Yes.
Run through it one more time really quick. So the attacker is long edge only.
So there's two sides. So So one side is either edge, but can only attack the head. The other side is above the belt, but can only attack the shoulder.
So, I have a couple questions. First of all, did anybody successfully land a Schielhau? Okay. All right, pretty much everybody. How about as opposition to an incoming cut to the head? Yes. Not everybody, but most people. Okay, good. What about other things other than the Schielhau? Any other strats?
What, like
Just general strats.
yeah. Oh, like,
Sprains motion. I like the Schielhau behind the blade.
Okay.
I like the Schielhau around the side because it messes with that like a lot.
I was fainting to one side and then.
Short edge work out.
Yeah.
I was finding if I open with a shield, I'd get parried, but then I would just zook in the other side still with short edge.
Okay, yeah, so kind of come up and come down. Yeah.
Clicking was really helpful on both sides of it.
Okay. Good. I'll go clockwise.
I was finding the thing that Glenn said, and also that I could do double over the top.
Okay, so
and then
come down.
Yeah.
Okay. So down and then up and down on the same side, or just continue?
on the same side.
Okay.
And
Okay. Cool.
We get into a situation like Schielhau versus Schielhau.
Yeah.
Right? Because the other person can also Schielhau.
So which one wins?
Well, the one that's higher wins.
Okay.
And
Good.
the
Good.
guy who's land the second one first wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's the choice.
Interesting.
I think I've been doing this without knowing it was a name or a thing of it, where I go on their right side of the blade to the arm, and I'll be able to twist and push their blade around.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a shield power or not, but
I don't see why not.
yeah,
Just a short edge cut.
Short edge,
Yeah. As long as it's a short edge cut. So like the follow up, I'm not really interested in classifying as much. But if you're cutting in short edge from the first, I say that's a Schielhau. Yeah.
We played a lot with footwork to try to either get them to freeze or get them to think you're going to attack and try to win the one intention with either shield.
Okay. Nice.
When left-handed, it seems like it's just kind of generally covers most of your side,
Okay.
which is nice. Just kind of a
Did
catch-all.
you find so left-hander? You first. I'm gonna talk about left-hander.
For the baiting tactic, reversing the passing step instead of advance.
Okay. Right. So you're pulling distance as you hit. Yeah. Yeah. That works. Yeah. Okay. So left-handers, real quick. Was there any way, like, how did you have to modify any of these ideas to make it work, or did you not have to? No?
Sometimes it made it easier that I didn't even have to like split sides. I could just keep my feet kind of with a forward advance. Sometimes I found myself having to like rotate the hip
Okay.
inwards
Yeah.
to cover certain lines. But
Gotcha.
it's kind of almost easy as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not left-handed, but like, if I'm rotating like that, usually I'll like rotate this back foot out, kind of like coming around like this. I guess the front foot rotates too, so it's exactly what you just said. Yeah. I agree. Good.
I think it helped a lot for doing it like diagonally this way.
Okay.
Kind of like
So you're coming,
up.
so like coming around like this.
Yeah.
That's tricky. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on like recovery options for like failure modes of the Schielhau? Like, let's say I find myself offside and make blade contact with their blades here. What what the best idea to do in that situation?
Okay, so don't fail it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so if you do Schielhau and you're parried, then now this is a common situation. This is just blade on blade, and any follow-ups that are kind of available to you when you're doing long edge are still available to you short edge. So again, it depends on the situation, but like you still have all your options. You can cut around. This might even be easier because you're already kind of in position to do it. Cut around, cut same side. Miro really likes to Schielhau in a way that makes his opponent draw up higher and higher, and then he'll be Schielhauing higher and higher, and then he'll go low, right? So just some ideas, but in general, it's pretty similar to just a long edge bind. Okay, let's move to the next scenario. Okay, yeah. All right. So the next scenario in the text. So the next piece in the text of the Schielhau is it's not necessarily a Schielhau technique itself, but it's squinting if they shorten to you. So what this is basically a list of things that make them fencing short and allow you to disengage. So when you go to fence, you shall squint with the face or see when they fence short, and hear the shortening of the sword like this. When they do not extend the arms long from them with the hew, they are shortened. If you lie in the guard full, if they want to fall upon it with the sword, they are again shortened. If they fence against you from the ox or from the plow, that is also short. And all windings in front of someone, they are all short, and you shall disengage against such fencers. With it, you force them so that they must oppose, so you may then hew and work freely with the sword and also with wrestling. Okay, well, we're not going to do wrestling, but we are going to do the falling upon game.
So, in this game, you don't have to do a Schielhau, but this is a Schielhau class, so you know, throw some in. But this will this will hopefully embody the idea of disengaging against someone who's fencing sword. So we have one person who's in a low guard. That will be Will.
And no back has to be forward.
Right, yeah, so it can't be behind your body, it has to be out in front of you, it can be side to side, but it can't be behind your back. Okay. The other fencer, you're allowed to start from whatever guard you want, okay? So this fencer, their goal is to punch the sword, and the low guard fencer's goal is to land a hit anywhere on the body. So, we'll do 3 rounds. Okay. So that'll be my win because they hit the sword. That's Will. And one more. Alright, makes sense? Alright, let's do it.
Fun.
Love it.
Love it. It's a blast.
Fun game.
Fun game.
It's harder than you think. To
Yeah.
disengage. Yeah.
Oh, for the disengagement.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's generally agreed upon that the sword toucher has the easier job.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to me, like, even if it's like unbalanced, like that makes it fun. It makes it a fun challenge to like figure out how to like get around it.
Yeah, I'm very new. I need a lot of practice with chasing the person, not the sword. This is a good game to practice for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate this thing.
Nice. Well, I mean, on one side you are chasing the sword, but I guess on the other side you're chasing the person. Yeah. Okay. And that, like, so some weird situations can arise in this because, like, you know, the sword toucher can't hit the body. So there's some weird, like 20 feints and then you go, which isn't always 100% realistic, but, like, you'd be surprised if you're getting someone chasing your sword, like, you can get away with some of that stuff sometimes. So, you know. All right. Okay. So, any other comments on that?
It almost sort of like aesthetically reminded me of an Olympic game where like that kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah. Less crashing into each other, maybe. Yeah.
I think it's helping a lot with like learning like hand snipe tech. Like it's easier to snipe the hands when you're the not touching the blade person.
Yeah.
Than like trying to go for a deep target. So getting them to like feint and then.
Sometimes, yeah.
Along those lines, I was finding especially against the lefty actually, the really primed Miro guard was really good because they attack your sword, back up, and you just do that right there. And it's, I guess it's Schielhau, but you're stepping back.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, cool. Let's move on to tactics versus long point. So, squint to the point. That's the next. So here's the next gloss piece. Squint to the point. Take the neck without apprehension. This is a piece against the long point with a deception of the face. Perform it like this. When you approach them to fence, if they then stand and hold their point against your face or chest, hold your sword at the right shoulder and squint with the face to the point, and do as if you want to hew to it, and hew strong from the squinter with the short edge at their sword, and shoot in the point long with it to the neck with a step forth of your right foot. Okay. So, this is something that I find a lot of people have trouble with, okay? And to kind of break down the reason why, we have to talk about thrusting, basically.
So, my opponent's in long point, right? So say I want to stab him. Say I'm in long point too, I want to stab, right? So if I just stand here and just go straight in, is this going to work? You almost never, basically. Unless you get like this close, in which case it's just whoever moves first. But going straight is almost never going to work. So, as a really high level breakdown, there's two, for me there's two ways that you play around with how to land the stab. The first is to get your strong and their weak. So you kind of, move over their blade, or you can do it by lifting, or you can do it by lift and drop, right? So either way, you're strong on their weak in some way, right? But if you just go in and do this, then the same problem, right? You're just gonna block, right? I can't just, do this in a vacuum and have it work, okay? The same is true of the Schielhau, okay? So because it's the same idea, I'm trying to grab his weak with my strong, and see, look, if you miss, then it definitely didn't. I'm trying to grab his weak with my strong with the Schielhau and finish with the push. But again, it's not a magic win button, right? He can easily do anything to defend that as he can do against the thrust. So he can have Judson, he can parry post, he can do whatever, right? So, if I'm playing a thrusting game in long point, how do I get around this? I do it by mixing in disengages, right? So, if I'm disengaging, I'm going to the other side, and I'm drawing his sword to that side, okay? So if I mix those two things together, disengage thrust, take the blade thrust, then I get it so he doesn't know which one I'm going to do, and I just do the one that he thinks that I'm not going to do. Okay? So, right. So he thought I was going to disengage, I stayed same side, took the blade. So, to me, that's the same thing with the Schielhau. Okay? Alright, good, no man. But the difference is, instead of mixing in just disengage, because you have to go all the way down, I mix in an offside cut, right? So I'm threatening, offside cut, and then I can come in and hit the Schielhau. Okay? So, the point is, it doesn't, you don't have to do it my way. It doesn't have to be the offside cut, but you have to do something. So there's a reason that the text says it's a deception in the face. So, it's a little different described there. You look at it says you look at the point and do as if you're gonna hit it away. Different setup. But to me, the idea is you have to do some kind of deception. If you just go straight in, it will not work. Maybe sometimes it will, but it will not reliably work, right? And to me, that's a big reason why a lot of people have trouble getting this working. And yes, it can work for real at the highest level. I hit Antek Obritsky with one in London, so it's real, it works. All right, so the exercise that we're going to do to train this, it's called shouting window. So we have one side starting shoulder, the other side starting long point. So the long point side is not allowed to do they're not allowed to really engage with the long attack, right? If I creep closer, then he can extend his arm and stab me, but he can't step and attack me. So I know it's a little bit weird with the rules, but just try to play along. Okay. So the shoulder guard side is the initiator. So either side can hit anywhere above the belt. If it's a double, if there was no blade contact, then the long point side wins. If there is blade contact, then the shoulder guard side wins. Make sense?
So the job of the long point guy is to defend, right?
I think yeah. So mostly, so the idea is that the shoulder guard side is usually engaging, but if I get greedy and like come really close, then you know he can attack me. Yeah. Do you have something?
Sorry, you said if there's blade contact and you double the pressure limit?
Then the shoulder guard side wins. So go ahead.
Hey, make it go to off or whatever. Like
Yes. Right. So once you've engaged, you can move wherever you want. Okay. So regarding an engagement and when to like reset, so say like I come in and have blade contact, so now I have priority. Say we like have like a carrier focus exchange, and then like we separate, right? So in this case, just restart. Okay. So I don't just keep priority for the next exchange. We just reset the situation. Okay. Yeah. And then I have to do the blade. All right. So let's do 3 exchanges. Okay. So that was a single, he hit me and minus 2 hit. Alright, so let's reset. Nah, fuck you, Frank. You can move, you're allowed to move.
Okay.
Yeah, you're allowed to move. So double blade contact. Alright. Let's do it.
I think
So we'll just go without the.
It is for the short edge.
Go without the. Okay, so how was that? Good.
Great.
Good. Any specific comments?
I guess if you're the one starting in shoulder guard, it benefits you to do some responsibilities to get the other person point not online, right? So you
Yeah.
go in.
Right. They're tricky because they're going to be trying to avoid your blade.
Yeah.
So you got to do something. Yeah.
Draw parry out in the wrong direction.
Hey, who's next? Yep. Yeah.
I found it really, really nice as a way to like practice closing with something that is not a direct attack. So try as the shoulder guard, trying to get in, hit the blade, and then redouble to something. Really, that's a good action because it's like you can close, but you're not spending all your movement on actually trying to get it first. You can enter safely and then go.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I have one question. In this drill, if I'm the long point guy, we made the blade contact, but I hit him. Well, what's the result of this one?
If only one person hits, then they score.
Okay. Also,
I should have made that more clear. It's only in a double does it priority
I
matter.
wasn't know that that's an option for the long point.
Right.
I do find having primed at the shoulder makes it easier to feint an opposite side hand shot and be able to get up enough to come around.
Interesting.
I don't know if anyone else felt that, but
That's not something that I thought of, but that's.
Say it one more time.
I feel like if I was primed and I want to feint to the side, I find it easier to bring it up and around if I wanted to,
Yeah, like under the false edge.
Yeah. Start with the false edge, and I feel like it's easier to feint either get the hand shot if you want to, but feint it because it's easier to lever this way than to lever that way. I guess.
It might be something that just looks similar, but I see Miro doing that quite a lot.
He'll come up and redouble a lot. Yeah.
I found coming here with the short edge and running across the blades, like finding you're strong and they're weak, and just pushing through was very easy to do.
Okay.
Because it just set you up to find it almost immediately.
Well, that's what
And
you
have-
supposed. That was the idea of the game. So I'm glad that it was easy to do. Yeah. Good. Did you have something?
Just that when falling on the blade, if you
when my shoulder opponent was falling on my blade and was like doing it forcefully and intentionality, if they weren't thinking about how to provide opposition in the case of a disengage, it was very easy to disengage and go. If they kept the blade in presence following the falling on the blade, it was much more difficult. They could maybe have some pushing offline, they fall, I try to go, they're ready for it, they start back up. So,
Yeah.
not overcommitting too much, make sure you're like, still trying to think about something.
Right. Yeah. I think the falling upon game is a little bit similar to that. If you overcommit, if you are trying to touch their blade and you overcommit, then now you're getting hit. So yeah. Okay. So one more question is: did anybody do a Schielhau to the hands during that? Yes. Yes.
Don't remember.
Okay.
Succeeded or tried?
Others. Tried, but didn't succeed. Okay, so the squinter to the hands is that's the last piece of the squinter, and I kind of I wanted to see if it arose without prompting, I guess. So squint to the upper head if you want to destroy the hands. When they stand against you in the long point, if you then want to strike over their hands, squint to the face to the head, and do as if you would like to strike them upon it, and strike them from the squinter with the point onto their hands. So in my mind, you're coming in as if you're going to cut deep, and then you just go snipe to the hands against the long point.
So is that going to be like around their sword rather than in opposition to it?
What do you think? What do you think would work better?
I think around.
Yeah.
But I mean, that leaves you more open for a counter.
That's true. So the way that I would explain away the counterattack is that you, since it's a feint to the head, you're doing it as they're trying to oppose. Yeah, but that's also a little bit problematic because if I'm here and I'm trying to block a head hit, I'm bringing the cross up, right? And now the hands are covered from the top by the cross, so they have to find some way around it. The other option is you're just coming over the top and hitting hands like this, which happens. People definitely do that in tournaments.
I'm very sorry to interrupt. People who are involved in Open Saber, they are looking to start very soon. If anyone here is doing Open Saber, if you can hold it in a second, very sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
Wait, who's your phone? Sorry, I missed when you beginning of your section.
So I'm quoting specifically Lev, but these are all in all of RDL.
Is he falling short to attack under the forward part of the hand? I'm trying to think of like what era and what martialities we're looking for. Like, are we actually seriously trying to disable somebody's hand?
Yeah, I mean these are yeah. I mean it's that's not a question that's really possible to answer. At least in a at least in the 2 minutes that we have for me. I mean, to me, I'm looking for how do I apply this to my fencing. So I'm looking for how can I use this to hit my opponent's hand. But that certainly is an interesting area of study that that one can delve into.
I'm thinking of Paul Hoffer's chopped off wrists and stuff like that.
Yeah, the slice. Yeah. Oh, right, in his book, yes.
Quick thought on that. You're raising into the current prone position. If the initial deception is long edge, and I perform the Schielhau components a little late, there's kind of a pulling out could be done to kind of get around to the hands. Okay.
Yeah, or you can get them on the front here.
Okay.
I feel like that would be I feel like that would be difficult, but it can be done.
So when you're painting, does it look like you're just almost ripping their hands, or is that something different?
It could. I mean, so you're coming like that sideways to hit the side of the hand. Yeah. It could be. It could be. I mean, I read what's in the text, so anything beyond what's in the text that is us trying to figure out how to do is all equally valid ideas.
My question is that particular motion, that's still the short edge, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like that variation might be pretty hard to read with that. If you're coming for that shield It's like the exact opposite way they included line items. That seems like it would be a lot harder than staff to make.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like this is pretty natural. But again, I would call this as fair. I wouldn't call this as Schielhau. But you know, that's just what I would call it. I don't know what they would think. Yeah. Okay. So, any other questions or comments? Okay.
Actually, I do. Can we find these games outlined in a place like to access?
Well, they're all on the HEMA game archive.
Oh, yeah.
On GD4H. Yeah.
I've never heard of that. So.
Okay, so it's gd4h.org, and then there's a link to the HEMA game archive, and it just lists like a ton of different games. I guess I can.
Can you drop it like the red chat in Human Nerd? Like that link?
Sorry.
Can you drop that link in the Human Nerd and someone?
I don't think he's in that. It's the
I'll put it in the
anybody,
IGX nerd.
Okay. Yeah. I just like list all the yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
All right. You can. Yeah, there are a few like selections of games there. We can make one for this. Yeah. That like lists all these.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. So that's all I had. Any closing thoughts?
Thank you. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Now I figured out what the hell people are doing to me.